The Wraith retrovirus, a biological technology developed by medical scientists from Earth's expedition to the lost city of Atlantis in the Pegasus Galaxy. Derived from extensive study of the physiologies of the Wraith and the Aratus bug, a creature with whom the Wraith share genetic ancestry, the retrovirus is capable of rapidly purging Aratus DNA from a subject, effectively transforming a Wraith into a human being. But in its initial testing, the retrovirus had disturbing consequences, and resulted in the creation of one of Atlantis' most dangerous adversaries. The Wraith retrovirus was first developed by Dr. Carson Beckett in the city of Atlantis. His successor, Dr. Jennifer Keller, later continued this work and attempted to deploy a modified version through trials with a group of willing Wraith subjects. This later gene therapy would not turn a Wraith into a human, but only remove their need to feed on human victims. Beckett's retroviral treatment exploits the genetic evolution of the Wraith species, beings in the Pegasus Galaxy who feed on the life force of human victims, holding civilizations across the galaxy under oppression for countless generations. Millions of years ago, the ancients migrated to the Pegasus Galaxy from Earth, and used their technology to seed nascent human life across numerous worlds. But on one of these worlds, an aggressive insectoid species fed upon humans in such a way that absorbed some of their DNA and integrated it with their own. As a result, the Wraith evolved from the combination of genetic material from both humans and the Aratus. From the Aratus, they gained not only the urge to feed upon other life forms, but also numerous evolutionary abilities, including cell regeneration, that provides the Wraith with rapid healing and longevity. Dr. Beckett's retrovirus targets the Aratus elements of Wraith DNA, effectively stripping them out of a subject's genetic makeup and leaving behind only the human. This has countless potential uses, in waging biological war against the Wraith, but also humanely turning them into ordinary humans rather than killing them. Beckett's research was only theoretical when the Atlantis team encountered a willing Wraith subject, Elia, a juvenile Wraith girl who was raised by a human father. Elia hated the monster she was, and was eager to become more human. Unfortunately, the retrovirus was only experimental, and still needed a great deal of further development. Elia took a large dose, unsupervised, with disturbing effects. The retrovirus attacked her human DNA instead. She was transformed not into a human girl, but a vicious killing machine. In the course of neutralizing the threat, Colonel John Shepard was also infected by Elia with the retrovirus. Because he was not in any way Wraith, it had the effect of introducing Aratus bug elements to his genetic makeup. Shepard slowly began transforming, gaining insect-like features and abilities until the team could acquire stem cells from an active Aratus nest and develop a cure. After further refinement, the retrovirus was administered successfully to a Wraith captured and brought to Atlantis. He awoke as a human, with his memory wiped, and was told by the team that he was a lieutenant serving in Atlantis under Shepard's command, Michael Kenmore. This version of the drug worked, but it still had a major drawback. The retroviral treatment required regular injections of another cocktail of drugs to prevent the Wraith elements from reasserting themselves. When Michael learned the truth about himself and escaped the city, his Wraith side began to re-emerge. But the retrovirus also had some permanent effects, leaving him neither fully Wraith nor human, but a hybrid, who would be derided as an outsider when he attempted to return to his hive. It was Michael, however, who would mediate a temporary truce between Atlantis and his hive's queen. This presented Atlantis with an opportunity to further evolve the retrovirus and test its potential for waging war against the Wraith. The Wraith wanted it to help them win their civil war, turning enemy hives into a new food supply. With help from Michael's hive, the drug was weaponized, to be deployed in aerosolized form on board an enemy ship. But after the Queen betrayed the team, it was her hive that was targeted and transformed. The Queen herself was unaffected, proving that female Wraith are immune to the retrovirus. Now the Atlantis expedition resettled her crew to the surface of a planet, nearly 200 former Wraith, unaware of their true nature. Michael himself was also subjected to the retrovirus again, reverting to a human state and losing his memory. But the ruse could not be maintained indefinitely. The Wraith began to revert, and as they attacked each other, Michael escaped the planet. He subsequently began his own research on the retrovirus, refining it to create his own hybrid followers, who would retain the strength and abilities of the Wraith, but without the need to feed. Similarly, Jennifer Keller's own modified experiment was not intended to transform Wraith subjects into humans, but instead to remove their biological imperative to feed on human life. Based on insights learned from Beckett's retrovirus, this gene therapy would close a Wraith's feeding hand and give him a functioning digestive system for consuming ordinary food. Atlantis ally Todd was convinced to volunteer for trials of the therapy, along with some of his warriors. But after taking the treatment, their hive was infected with a crippling disease. The warriors were left horribly disfigured, and even the organic systems of the ship were infected. Todd's hive was destroyed. He himself would be saved only by finding Eneratus Queen and allowing it to feed on him, purging the disease from his system and restoring his health. The Wraith retrovirus ultimately proved to be only partially successful. It could turn a Wraith into a human, at least on the outside, but it could not make this a permanent change. And when it was modified to remove their need to feed on humans, but otherwise leave the Wraith as they are, the treatment ultimately proved fatal. For more people, places, and things from the Stargate universe, visit StargateOmnipedia.com. If you want to support Gateworld on YouTube, like this video and leave a comment. Check out this playlist for more videos from the Stargate Omnipedia.